It started like any other quiet Boston night. March 18th, 1990. The streets near Fenway Park were slick with rain and nearly empty. It was the early hours after St. Patrick's Day. While the city slept off its hangover, two men dressed as police officers approached the side entrance of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, and in the span of 81 minutes, they pulled off what would become the largest art heist in history. I wasn't on the force when it happened. Not yet. But years later, long after the paint had dried around the empty frames that once cradled Rembrandts and Vermeers, I would walk into the cold case files and open the dusty folder labeled simply Gardner. Even then, it haunted people. What kind of crime leaves no witnesses, no forensics, and no ransom, yet still echoes through every gallery in the world? The museum itself was a fortress of culture, founded by philanthropist Isabella Stewart Gardner, a woman who traveled the world collecting masterpieces. The place wasn't just a museum, it was her vision frozen in time, a Venetian palace standing proudly in Boston. But at 1:24 a.m., a buzzer echoed through the side security entrance. Two men, dressed like Boston PD officers. One of the guards, Rick Abeth, buzzed them in. He wasn't supposed to, but he did. They said they were responding to a disturbance call, told Rick to step out from behind the desk, then told the second guard to join him. Seconds later, both were handcuffed and duct taped, then brought to the basement and tied to plumbing pipes. "Don't give us any problems," one of the men said. "This isn't a joke." At 1:51 a.m., the museum's motion sensors tracked movement through multiple galleries, especially the Dutch Room, the Short Gallery, and the Blue Room. The thieves didn't just take art. They mutilated it. They cut Rembrandt's Storm on the Sea of Galilee, his only seascape, from its frame. Took the Concert by Vermeer, one of only 34 Vermeer works in existence. They pulled a Manet, a Degas, a Chinese bronze eagle finial, over $500 million in art, gone. Then at 2:45 a.m., just like that, they vanished. No trace, no alarms, just two bound guards and empty frames left like scars on the walls. When I was assigned to revisit the case, nearly 2 decades had passed. The FBI had chased every lead, mob ties, insider jobs, international art traffickers. But something never sat right with me. Why no ransom? Why take only certain pieces and leave others far more valuable untouched? And who, exactly, were these fake cops? We dug into Rick Abeth, the night guard who buzzed them in. Hippie, musician, low pay, low stress. But he'd opened the doors, violated protocol. Some thought he was involved, but no hard evidence. Polygraphs were murky. He always denied it. Another theory, the Boston Mafia. Around the time of the heist, the FBI was aggressively pursuing New England crime bosses. What if the heist was leverage? A bargaining chip? Names came up. Carmine Romano, Bobby Donati, David Turner. Some were dead, others locked up. Still, no paintings ever surfaced. No whisper of the stolen works. Not in Europe, not in Asia. They vanished like smoke. The museum? They still leave the empty frames on display. It's not just a reminder of loss, it's a taunt, a dare, a wound that refuses to close. The public speculated for years. An inside job, an art collector's fantasy gone wrong, even government intelligence operations. We followed a lead in Florida once, another in Ireland. In both cases, we hit dead ends. The art world remains tight-lipped. Once a masterpiece disappears into the black market, it becomes invisible, priceless, yet too hot to sell. If the paintings are still intact, they're buried deep in private collections, perhaps locked in a basement no light has touched in decades. Or worse, destroyed to erase the evidence. The true victim, article culture, history. The faces in those missing paintings, the brushstrokes of centuries, lost. And the city, Boston. Because this wasn't just a robbery, it was a haunting. To this day, the FBI offers a $10 million reward for information leading to the recovery of the artworks. But the clock keeps ticking. The ghosts of Fenway keep whispering. And somewhere out there, someone knows the truth.